Start now. I can officially start.
Yeah, start.
They can hear me. They can see me. We're Gucci Gang. Finally, no more technical difficulties. Let's get it jumping.
Go.
Cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Don't Be Mad podcast, your weekly dose of us kicking back, shooting the shit, figuring out why this computer just didn't want to work for us. I'm your boy Matthew, aka Lefty Lucky, and I'm joined here as always with
Jamali.
And Jason, I'm back.
Jason's finally back. It's good to see you, broski.
Thanks. I'm back.
Sorry about the delay, people. We had a little technical difficulties going on with the live stream, but hey, we're here. You're here. Thanks for joining us. Let's just kick it off, man. How was the week, everybody? Well, Jason, for you, how were the 2 weeks?
Good, man. Can't complain. Went to the water park. Went to Calypso. That was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, that was fun. And, just went out, have dinner, relax. Just had a little getaway, so I needed that, so it was good.
That's good, man. Sometimes, you don't need the big vacation. It's just like a nice little weekend getaway, do something nice and relaxing. That's pretty dope, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Jamali? How was the week?
Man, I survived.
Yeah, got through it.
Pretty relaxed week, so ain't complaining.
It's good to know.
Yeah,
I
sure.
like that you're so engaged.
I try.
For myself, I feel like this was weird. Like, the week went by really slow, but I didn't feel like much even happened in it. It was just kind of like a quiet, slow pace, couldn't wait to get back here type of thing, just for something to actually happen. But besides that, things were pretty good, nothing to really complain about. Had nice, beautiful weather. So yeah, it was good times. So where do you want to kick this off? I know Jason came in here and he was very adamant that he wanted to talk about relationships.
I was very adamant. What are you talking about? I just said
You were your version of enthusiastic.
Okay, that's what you interpret. Okay, that's
Yeah, no, you were. So I was just like, beforehand we were just talking about, what type of angle do we take? Because relationship in itself is a broad stroke, there's so many different types of relationships. There's so many different ways you could hit relationship. I figured for myself, the best way we could just tackle this topic would be from the perspective of we have Jason who is in a relationship.
Well, before we get there, we could just shout out a couple highlights I think that was necessary.
Okay, highlights.
Meek Mill finally got, all those charges dropped, no longer considered a felon.
That's great.
Very, very good. So I think that's dope. He also signed to Rock Nation.
That's cool.
He has his new label deal. Well, so what else happened? Well, obviously that Rick Ross record.
It's a good record.
You have nothing else to add? No highlights? You sound very dull.
I told you I had a very slow-paced week where nothing happened.
No, I think it's dope that, he gets to put 10 years of issues behind him.
Oh, that is good. I mean, especially with everything that we've seen happen to Meek Mill as far as, being incarcerated over, doing wheelies in the street or, just his struggle in general, just coming up from the probation period that's seemed to be everlasting. The fact that now everything is dropped, he's cleared completely of anything in his past and he's allowed to just move forward. That's a beautiful thing, man. That's great to hear.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, not much more I could say on that. That's great. I'm happy to hear it from. I'm proud of him and happy for him. And moving forward, I'm looking forward to see what he's able to do.
Oh,
Stay out of
definitely.
jail. Stay out of jail.
Well, yes, obviously.
Obviously, I don't think he does things to go to jail. It's
The
not
overall
like a willful
consensus is approval on that message.
Hey, he did some stupid wheelies in the street.
act. People have done worse.
I
A
know.
lot worse.
And done worse and got less punishment.
Yeah.
So let's not
I mean,
condemn the poor guy.
yeah, without going into a whole spiel, we know many examples or heard of examples of people doing worse on the road where lives are actually either injured or taken away and literally nothing
Oh,
of
yeah.
great expenses happen to those people. So, I mean, but like I said, it's good that Meek is, after all these years of having to deal with this shit, he's finally cleared of everything and he's just, the only thing he has to look at is his future, That's
Pretty
great.
much, yeah. I mean, it must be crazy to live 10 years of your life knowing that any contact you have with a police officer could land you behind bars. That must be the most frightening experience. I don't have none of those things pending. I would even like to deal with police. Only imagine if I had something like that over my head. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Any other highlights?
That's about it. There's nothing really going on. Slow news week.
Told you, man. Like this week, it's summer, man. Like unless you're just outside and hoping to catch something happen, there's not much really happening.
Not until August 9th.
Not for that. I know for me, soon enough there'll be a good old club footy happening, and I'll get to just lose myself in that for the next few months until actual NFL starts up. So that, at least with that, I feel good. Been enjoying the preseason for Chelsea. So far, so good. They're looking okay. Not great, but there's promise.
Better luck next year.
Hey. I believe in the youth. It's good now. Like, we have a ban on us, but the youth are out there playing. We're seeing the potential of the future of the club. I will say, until, like, obviously Callum Hudson-Odoi, RLC, and Conte come back from injury, we're looking pretty good. We're looking decent as a club.
Well, good luck.
I like that.
Yeah,
All right.
man.
So back to the relationships.
All right.
We got Jason, who's in a relationship. His girlfriend's in the background, but you guys can't see her. Then you got Jamali and myself. We're single. Well, Jamali, he says he's single. I don't know if he's single.
I'm pretty single. I'm a dollar bill in the streets, bro.
Yeah, where do you get all these stupid sayings, dog? I swear,
I'm
are
a
you?
dollar
But the
bill.
funny thing about, like, Jason, he says he's a dollar bill in the street, but he literally has the most women contacting him whenever we're all together.
Hey, I'm not gonna go that far. I don't know what Jamali business
Thank you,
is. I'm not gonna
Jason.
do that.
Thank you.
Can't
Hey,
do
we
that.
see that LED on his phone flashing.
No, that just pissed me off. I don't know who's.
That's why we know what's going on. That's
like
the
just-
problem. If you didn't have that, if you didn't
guys
have that
stop
LED,
staring at my motherfucking phone, then it won't
I
piss
can
you off.
literally be in the kitchen and I see that shit through the fucking windows of the studio. Okay?
Now you're assuming. You're only assuming that it's
no
my
assumptions. Your LED is one of a kind.
phone. Anyways,
But with that being said, single.
you're not single, bro. You like to talk shit. Like,
I
bro,
am quite single.
really
Very single.
right.
I am like
You well, you have like the flavor of the
borderline-
fucking,
You're single? You're single?
I'm single.
Name the last girl you slept with right here.
I don't even know, man. It's actually been
bro. You know you
2 months since I've had sex.
You
That's
know
not
you
even
lying.
a joke. No,
You know you
dude,
lying.
I swear it. Swear it on whoever you want me to swear it. I
You
swear.
have the
It's been
the
2 months,
most
bro.
hoes that I
It's
know.
been 2 months since I've had sex. That is God's honest truth. I don't have sex in the summer, man.
The fuck do you do then?
Dude, it's too hot to have sex in the summer. You'd be sweating all crazy and shit. Celibacy and masturbation. That's
Bro,
it.
shut the fuck up. You have
No, but
hoes.
dead ass. Look, I'm dead serious. I haven't had sex in 2 months.
But you have hoes though. A lot of hoes.
No, 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 no.
Bro, the number of hoes you be showing me, you have hoes.
Hoes? Whoa. First off, what hoes have I shown you?
I'm not gonna throw your business all the way out
No,
there.
throw it out there. You want to bring up hoes? Talk about hoes. Who are the hoes?
The roommates,
Roommates? What roommates?
not your roommates, but their roommates.
Who are they?
I don't know. I'm not calling names.
See, you can't even say a name. That's how you know he's bullshit.
Hey, he's not snitching.
Neither you can't.
No, it's not snitching if I'm telling him straight up. Just call it out.
Nah, I'm not. It's
He
not
just said
about
there's
snitching.
roommates. I'm like, what roommates?
I'm just dropping you a little hint. If you can't pick up on your own hint, then I don't know what to tell you.
Look, if you are the roommates, drop it on the Facebook. It's live.
Hey, you don't hear me talking to nobody, but you assume I have hoes.
No, we see your hoes.
Hey,
Because
don't
you
say
put their
we.
picture.
Don't say
You put
we.
their picture as their fucking background. So whenever they call you, we see
That was
that
only
shit.
one singular time you saw that.
One more than me.
Shut up. What you give them boys' name or something?
Oh,
what the fuck?
is wrong with you?
Because I don't see girls calling you, but I know you have hoes. I've been around you, Matthew.
Hey, maybe in the winter
Nah, bro, it was the summertime.
because it's cold
It was
and
summer.
you need something to hold you tight and keep you warm.
I've seen you with hoes in the summer.
Something to snuggle up on, you know.
I've seen you with hoes in the
'Cause
summer.
everybody knows I like my cuddles.
Sure.
But once the summertime hits, I'm like a butterfly, man. I just follow the wind.
Sound
You know-
like a whorish thing
You
to
know
do.
butterflies die really quickly, right?
Okay.
You say you're like a butterfly, so I'm like,
Okay.
follow the wind?
Butterflies die like everything else in the world. But back to relationships.
Anyways, back to your relationship statements. Go ahead.
What my relationship statements?
Go ahead. I'm listening.
I just wanted to start off by saying with the one person who is in a dedicated relationship here who we see is happy and they're in love and they're building their future together, I wanted to ask Jason, when did you know that she was the one? When did you know that she was the one? Like, give us the scenario. Like, what was going on? You know, like did you look and you're just like,
She's like
yeah.
here blushing right now. She can't
Yo!
see her, but she's next to me.
dude,
No, she won't
I'm
come on. She
literally
won't come on.
throwing you an oop right now.
When did I know that Christina was the one?
Oh, name dropping everything.
Everyone knows Christina.
We all know Christina, man. Like, it's not the first time we name dropped her.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Christina knows. I don't have to tell her. Christina knows.
No, but the listeners, the viewers don't know. Like, they see your Instagram, they see the pictures you guys have together.
It's not many.
I'm
though.
sure they would love, dude. One is more than none. I'm sure they would like to know, when were you like you looked at her and you're like, yeah, that's the one.
A long time ago. Christina and I know each other for how long? Over 6-7 years now. We dated a couple times before, and recently we're dating consistently. So yeah, I don't know. I guess to say seriously, when I found out she was the one, maybe a year and a half now. As long as we've been dating recently.
Oh, you tell me. I don't know how long.
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking. So I'm saying that's about it. About a year and a half.
Year half ago, you just woke up and you're like,
Well, no, you
she's
have
the
to
one,
understand.
and did you call her or text her and be like, you're my girlfriend now?
No, it's nothing like that. No, but I think at a certain point in life, when you get older, you mature on both sides, and you want to have a specific goal you want to reach to together. And I think we're at the point where, both of us kind of had that kind of same goals that we follow, that we want to follow, and it worked out. So we're just we're happy now, and yes, there's arguments here and there. Any couple has that, but
Is it about where you leave your socks?
This fucking guy.
I wouldn't say that, but no, it's
Anything you can mention?
mm,
No, obviously nothing too serious. I mean, she is sitting right there, like something light. I'm sure there's like people are sitting at home, like they're just yelling out their like topics of arguments, like, why does she always get mad because I leave the seat up or some shit like that?
no, there's little things and stuff like where we're going to decide to go out to eat, or if we're going to, I don't know, if we're deciding on an activity to go to or what to do on the weekend. Little things like that. Yes, there's been big arguments and everything like that. However, we do get through them. We do talk through them, and we have a good communication. And yeah, like anything, we do argue. But to me personally, I think there's been more good times than bad times.
I would hope so. I mean, especially like if you guys, like you said, when you guys first started seeing not first started, but when you guys got back together and decided like you're going to make it official and exclusive, you were saying how you realized you guys had similar goals that you wanted to reach to together.
Yeah.
So that in itself means there was like a definite amount of communication where you realize like the things that you hold dear and she holds dear, you guys realize aligned, and from that you were willing to like take that leap of faith and have this relationship with her, which is a beautiful
sure.
thing,
For sure, we have the same goals and everything we want to do. However, we have different methods of getting to that goals, and I think that's where the arguments do stem from, because we're different people, different personalities, so we think differently on how to approach things. Yeah, I may think of going left when she may want to go right, but we're still going to end up in the same place anyways.
Yeah.
So that's where I guess arguments do happen, and when you're in this relationship with whoever, you kind of have to compromise, discuss. Yeah, your way might work best, but we want to compromise, or it depends. It really depends on the on the type of relationship that you have and everything like that.
Yeah, compromise is key, and that goes for not just like boyfriend, girlfriend, 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 boyfriend, boyfriend relationships or anything of the like. It's just in general, whenever you have any type of relationship, whether it's friendship or family, all that stuff, like there's always like levels of compromise that you do because you respect each other, you love each other, and there's amount of comfortableness that you want to make sure that each of you have. And at the same time, you want to put yourself in a position where you feel like you're being imposed on or you're the imposer, like
That's right.
that's why compromise is like, it's a very good thing to have.
That's why I said no more I'm in a serious relationship now. And I told Christina there's too many steps in this world to worry about a relationship going out of hand. That's all I'm saying.
Going out of hand, how?
Hey, I'm just saying there's too many steps in this world. The elevator's gonna be broken somewhere.
the fuck? You talk about my
I feel like
shame?
that was like such an inside, like they know exactly
I
what
don't
that
know what the
means
fuck
kind of
you're talking
thing.
about.
But like for us, I'm just like, I have no idea what that analogy means whatsoever. So I kind of want to leave it at that. I don't want to pry into
When
it.
I hear stairs in relationship, it's never a good picture. That's
Jamal
all
is
I'm
already
saying.
Jamal, you're on the right track. That's like
Wait, what? I don't want to be on that track, bro.
Dude, I don't know how you figured it out.
no, but
This guy said there's stairs.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
He sounds like
Dude,
Akeem.
I don't know what he's
I don't
joking
mean
You know
about.
what
That's the
things.
problem.
You know when Akeem says like he doesn't use condoms because there's,
Yeah,
he has
there's free
Medicare?
clinics.
This one, he's like, there's stairs, don't worry about the relationship. There's always stairs, What That's fucked up, Jason.
Hey, I have you don't know what I've been through, dog. You have no idea what I've been through.
It's okay, bro. This guy's out here
No, but
wilding.
relationship these days. Well, I don't know how, like, since you guys are all single, you claim all to be single. I don't know how you guys deal with anything.
Wait, pause. Hold on. Who claim I am single?
Okay,
Right?
that's right. You claim to be single. You
No,
claim
I'm not claiming it. I'm saying
Okay,
it
you
as
are.
facts.
You are single.
Thank
Take us
you.
at our word,
Are
please.
single.
That'd be appreciated.
I am not, because I don't know.
Matthew
people's business.
claims to be single.
Take me at my word, please. I would appreciate
That's
that.
why I said claim. I don't know you guys' business. I don't pry into it. What?
And I
there you go.
appreciate that.
That's why I
too.
said you claim.
Well, I'm telling you straight up, Matthew have bitches. That's for fact.
Whoa. You still call women bitches in 2019?
You call them worse things, just not on mic. But
Whoa. How dare that is an accusation and I do not appreciate it.
neither did Bill Cosby.
Defamation
Go
is
ahead.
a serious offense.
But yeah, you were saying?
Oh man,
I was saying?
No, Jason.
Yeah.
what was I saying?
Oh,
No,
you
I
were
was like, how?
coming-
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was saying, how do you guys navigate it now? Like, what are you guys looking for?
Well, at the moment, I'm not really looking. I feel like that's
Why?
why he doesn't believe. Like, I'm not looking. Like, I'm.
You don't have to look for honey if you're in the nest, in the honeycomb, you know what I mean? Like, he's there. He has hoes all around him.
I don't know why he is so convinced I have quote unquote hoes,
Well,
but I don't. I wish I did. I wish my life was that great that I could just
Give
be
him-
like,
give him
call
the-
someone now and it's like, boom, like, but I really don't.
You make Ludacris' job look easy.
But like, let's say if I were looking, it's pretty much in the same vein as you, where it's like somebody that aligns with me. But at the same time, I've always noticed my best relationships have always been where a majority of their characteristics are essentially an opposite of mine. Because I'm very much a person who, like, I feed off of energy, and if there's somebody who is like super energetic, super like, let's just live in this moment right now and just go and do whatever is on their heart and mind in that moment, then all we're gonna do is bounce off of each other and like it'll be bad.
sounds
Like
fun, though.
You know what I was gonna
it,
say?
it can be. Like, don't get me wrong, like it can be fun, but at the same time it's just like it's tiring.
You know what I was gonna say?
What?
It sounds mean, but exactly what Matt you just described is the perfect definition of a crackhead.
What?
Like, no, just
confused.
repeat exactly. Just
I don't
repeat-
know
No, just
how many
repeat.
crackeads you've ever seen,
No,
but
just
no.
no, but
I have
listen.
no idea.
No, just listen to what you said. You said it's someone whose energy you can feed off, who's just free spirited. Crackheads are the most free spirited people I have ever seen in my life.
Nah,
No,
but they drugged up,
crackheads
bro.
are not free spirited. They are literally goal driven for one particular thing, and that's crack. They'll do anything for it. That's
Yep.
what a crackhead, crack fiend, like that's what they are. You know what their goal is.
No, that's a dope fiend.
What's the difference?
What's the difference between a crack fiend and a dope fiend?
A dope fiend?
The drug. That's the only difference.
Dope fiend's worse.
Nah, they're both the same.
I think a dope fiend's worse.
Whether it's heroin or crack, it's still like the addiction in itself is horrible.
Yeah.
But like for the sake of this conversation, no. What I'm describing is not
He just describing
that.
he's just describing if like the energy's right, then he's interested.
Yeah.
At least that's what
I
gather.
very much need like that click, like you can be the perfect chick and like have all the same like values and everything, but if you don't get that click, if it's more than chemistry,
that Walt Disney type shit, huh?
Yes and no. because fuck that fantasy shit. Only fantasy I do is
This guy's
football.
This guy, my left feet has to rise off the ground
Nah,
when we
fuck
kiss.
that. It's not-
You know what I
it's-
mean? Like, what the
it's
fuck
more
are you
like-
talking about?
Because you can be with somebody who's like super attractive and like, you know, value wise, they come from a good family, good home, like
Right.
you know, it aligns. But you see them only as like a friend. Like you respect everything about them, even though you're attracted to them. You don't see anything beyond. Like you don't feel like that relationship that you want to have with someone as a significant other is there, even though everything about them, it's like, yeah, this is somebody that I 100% respect and I like who they are and everything, you know? It's something that's like beyond that. It's when you look at each other and like words don't explain it because it's all body language at that point, you know?
Yeah, but I think that comes with time, bro. I don't think you could actually have that from rip.
No, I'm not saying it's day one. Definitely it's something that comes with time, but if a month down the line, 2 months down the line, you're still not feeling that, then
Bro, a month into in comparison to a lifetime, bro, like that's nothing. Like I don't know. I maybe I'm just like weird as fuck because like none of these things matter. Like to me, what matters are the intangibles. Like for me, values. Like we could start out as good friends, and then you know whatever happens. But I don't give a fuck about a feeling because to me, I feel like in some ways that's like a false sense of a false idea. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I'm not saying I'm not knocking your theory.
well, I didn't take it as a knock.
But for me, it's like we have to be on the same page, like where we're trying to go, where we're at. Not even where we're at, but where we're trying to go. Like to me, that's key. You know, values, morals, all these things are key for me. Like if we don't line up in that way, bro, we cool. We could keep it pushing.
I feel you.
That depends. Well, it's like I was saying before. If you have the same goals and ideals, and you have the same place that you want to get to eventually for everyone, that's kind of the best relationship you've had. In terms. Oh wait,
You good?
Choking, bro?
yeah, I have a cough. Christina has a question. What do you have to?
You gotta say it into the mic though, so the people can hear.
Speaking of the mic, I want to have you on the.
Help her
on the-
hide her face because she doesn't want to be seen.
It's on you guys. Come, say what you say. Okay, so don't ask questions.
Okay, well, ask the question in her stead.
Text
then.
me the question and
Yeah.
I'll see it.
Or no, just say it. I mean, like he's right there.
I can't hear it though. I have the headphones in my head, so I won't. be able
Oh
to
my
hear it.
god.
I forget what was my train of thought. What I was saying.
God damn it, Christina.
No, okay, yeah, I get it now. Yeah, everyone has the same goals, and I think in relationship, what makes it difficult for everyone is that it's underlying things that start conflict. So people say, "Oh, this person was the instigator of a fight in a relationship," or it's not really that people are instigating each other. It's just that both sides have a good intention of what they want to do. It's just that the method in doing it or getting to it is the problem. And a lot of people can't talk through that part of a relationship. So they always get say, "Oh, you don't want to talk about this, you want to talk about that." And it seems like you're talking about two different things when you're actually talking about the same thing.
Yeah, legit.
And I think the goal for a lot of people in life, whatever, that's you just have to have a good communication. And the worst people who get into relationships are people who cannot talk to each other. People who can't talk to each other should not be in a relationship.
Or just people who are really closed off in general. Because you can find that person that you eventually open up to. But then when it comes to moments of conflict and moments where you need to be expressive and you need to have that fluid communication, but your personality type is when conflict happens, you essentially turtle. It's like everything else, when it was good, you're able to speak so openly and easy. But the second you feel that frustration, now you become essentially a shell of yourself, you know? So it's really a matter of that person's personality and that type of perspective as well, and trying to find a way to break through that.
And I also think like one of the bigger problems is really, I find, at least in our generation, people get into a relationship and then try to get to know each other. And I think like that's the wrong way to approach it. Like if you want to get into a relationship with someone, you should already know them.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
You
with
know,
that.
and I think that's where you could tell like this person communicates well or don't communicate well. Like if you're in a relationship with someone who don't communicate well, it's because you didn't take the time to get to know them before.
Yeah.
You know, because those are things that are avoidable, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. No, I feel like, especially when we live in this like social media age where, you know, you have all these dating apps where a swipe away is the next person, just that lost art of literally just sitting down with somebody or going for a walk with someone and communicating face to face, you know, like not leaving it up to text bubbles or maybe the occasional FaceTime, but like actually being in the presence of someone, in the moment with someone, and essentially building that relationship in that way.
Well, I mean, building is one thing, bro. I always like, to any good building is a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't think people build relationship nowadays on things that are solid that could keep them together.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about like, well, I'm in my party phase. I need a girl that's in my party phase, or I need a dude that's in the, you know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, so now that we're out of that phase, then what?
Yeah.
It's always like, you know, it's like, you know, they're building as they go, but then it's not built on anything. And so you can't build a relationship based on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think people need to learn like that fundamentally, like you have to have pillars, and those are commonalities, things that are not going to fade over time. So that's why to me, values, morals, things that we could connect on a deeper level matters most.
Usually like the main things people tend to look at is like what type of family you come from, religious views, political views. Like those are like the main things that
that's what sensible people do. I've heard
but yeah, like I'm saying it in a general way, but yeah, you know, like these are like the things that majority of times when you come to the conclusion of, yeah, this person I feel has like the morals that reflect or relate to mine.
Right.
It's because of like these core things, you know? And then on top of that, you want to essentially just see how they are with their circle, you know, and how they interact with people, how they interact with strangers as well. And,
for sure. That speaks to volume of somebody's character.
Going into that idea of like the foundation, you got to know yourself first before you can look at somebody else and decide what from them will help you create that foundation. Because a lot of times too, you'll have people who are trying to get into relationships, but they don't even know how to be single. Like they don't know how to be by themselves, you know? Those like, you have people who are like serial relationship people who the second they fall out of one, within a week, they're in another one, you know? And,
I know a couple of
it's like you never actually give yourself a chance to breathe and just find yourself, especially like if you were in a relationship that was, let's say, a year, 2 years plus, you've created and established certain habits because of your relationship that especially if it ended badly, and then within a week or a month, even a month's time, at that point, you find someone new, all the baggage and all the negative energy and all the bad habits that you had in that relationship, you were literally bringing into the next one. And it's why you always see these, like, whether it's a man or a woman saying like, oh, all of them are the same, all of them are this. It's like, no, you just never gave yourself a chance to reset.
Well, not only just reset, like good or bad baggages. I mean, to me, baggages, period. Like to me personally, when you think of someone coming out of a relationship, there's certain things that could work between two people, and that's what they enjoy. That's what they're about. It doesn't mean that the next person you meet is gonna enjoy, whether it's a good or bad habit. Like you could have had a dude, or you could be dating a girl that's outgoing, that like to do fun shit, and you might eventually build that habit of wanting to do that. But that don't mean your next partner is gonna have that urge or that desire.
Yeah.
And so when you're trying to force certain things, it's just gonna create contention.
Well, that's why I was saying that when you're in a relationship, long-term relationship, or if you're looking for that, you have to be very straight up upfront with the person from the beginning. So you have to know, they have to know where you stand, where you plan on going, the type of person that you are. So for example, I don't know if you have I don't know, you're a gamer or something like that, and tell a person that I like to play video games. You shouldn't hear an argument about something about video games down the line when you actually identified that this is what I always do, this is what I've been doing, this is what I told you what I was doing from the beginning. There shouldn't be any conversation for that. And if you've been with that person for that amount of time and you're still arguing over something like that, that's a big problem in my opinion.
Well, most people depend. Go ahead. Well, I was gonna say it also depends how much you're playing, Because
I'm
let's
not
say
talking excessively. I'm talking about like, you know,
because like let's say if it's like in the sense of how we know there's people out there who do it like streaming wise, it's
Right.
it's essentially their 9 to 5. Then
Right.
that's one thing. But if it's you coming home every day and you're constantly playing, and then the times that you have set aside, now you're kind of forsaking those because maybe you're coming up late to a meetup because you're playing or things like that. It's essentially getting in the
well,
way.
yeah, that's if you're being derelict in your responsibilities. I'm talking
exactly.
about- I'm talking-
Then it can be
yeah.
an issue.
But it's also key to identify the fact that you shouldn't go into a relationship. I think actually, let me put it this way. I think the reason why these type of arguments exist because people go into a relationship with the mindset that they're able to convert or change someone's behavior or point of view and shit like that. So when they're not successful at doing it, then it becomes a point of contingency.
Yeah.
So like if you meet a girl and she was clubbing, like if you gotta go in there knowing that that's what she's about. You can't go in there and be like, you know what, bro, eventually I'm gonna get her to kick that habit. No, she's only gonna kick that habit when she wants to kick that habit. So you can't date a girl that's like like to go out 3-4 times a week and then expect her to stop it all of a sudden. And if she doesn't stop, then it's a point of argument. Like I think your mindset when dating somebody has to be on point. Like it has both y'all got to be on the same page.
That and you got to know your hard yeses, your hard no's, and your boundaries.
Oh hell yeah!
Like you literally have to know exactly where you stand in everything and essentially remain in it. Like we've had the conversations before where I've had like my polyamorous relationships, and the reason those worked were because we knew where we stood as far as what we were willing to allow and not allow. You have to, and that's one of the biggest places where communication is very key, because if you're with somebody and you know they have somebody else and I have somebody else, then we have to know exactly when the times we can't be together are going because you're with them or I'm with the other person. And then on top of that, it's how many other people are we
involved,
allowing? Like what's the limit? What's the criteria to seeking another person? Like there's a lot of communication that goes into it, but within all that is the trust and knowing that the things that I put down, the boundaries I've struck, and my hard yeses and my hard no's are going to be respected and vice versa.
Most definitely. I think in any relationship, though, those things are necessary. And, you know, I think also a lot of times you see people do things in the beginning of a relationship just because they want to attract that person. And then eventually they switch up, you know what I mean? So they might be willing to go out all the time because they want to attract that person. But then all of a sudden they get them, they're like, nah, bro, I'm not with that anymore. That's not me.
Right.
And I think like those type of things, like selling somebody a mirage, you know, it's like,
Well, yes and no, because I feel at the same time we still have to allow people the right to change. You know, like
people do have the right to
Yeah.
change, but I'm talking about the intent at this point.
yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, if the intention was I'm gonna be with them for like 3 months, and at this point in time, like they essentially have a date circle where they know they're gonna start trying to make that shift happen.
Right.
Then it's one thing. But if it's literally like, yeah, you met this way, you were having fun this way, and then you just get to a point where you really want to make a shift. It's almost like somebody deciding, fuck this, I'm tired of being unhealthy. I'm going to start going to the gym. I'm going to change my eating habits, become a vegan, whatever the hell it is. You know, like they're allowed that right to change, even though they were fucking with people.
No, that's
who,
not what I'm saying. That what you're saying is also
Yeah.
correct. But what I'm saying is that, for example, I don't know, we could use that whole vegan shit because you just said it and it clouded my mind. But like, it could be someone who essentially is a vegan but would eat meat for a person just because they want to be around that person.
Okay, yeah,
and
you
then
mean it that way.
essentially after, you know, that person, you know, they become a unit, then they be like, nah, bro, we're not eating meat no more. You
Yeah.
can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I think your intent when in a relationship has to be for the benefit of the union.
Yeah,
You know what I
always.
mean? Before yourself in most cases.
So, Christina gave me the question that she was on to ask me before. So, she asked me, can I read it up? Did I say? Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, read it.
Well,
says-
how else we're gonna know?
No, I wanted to say if it to like personally say it, like personalize it, or if just read it. in
No,
general.
just read it.
So, do you see us having a lot of chemistry still, or does that change over time, or should it remain constant? Yeah, chemistry is always there. It evolves. I'm not saying that it diminishes, but it evolves. It changes in different ways. as you get older, things change, but likability stays the same.
Yeah, chemistry definitely shifts.
Hell yeah.
It shifts as you grow, as you learn, as you unlearn. Like chemistry, the biggest thing about it when it comes to relationships, I find it's a matter of nurturing chemistry. Because there's no way you're going to be in a relationship with somebody and the way you start is the way you finish. Like, I mean, you have a honeymoon phase, then you have a point where you just kind of plateau. And then leading up to that first fight is where it's either going to spike really high or spike really low or just zigzag back and forth. Like that's essentially the chemistry that you're either going to nurture or you're going to let it get destroyed and blow up in your face. So in a whole, whatever chemistry you have, whatever you started with, that's almost like your reminder of what you want it to be in a sense, but it's not the reality of what it will become going forward.
Or also it's not I don't think it's a continuous thing. Like, again, that's why for me, fundamentally, the cores of or the pillars of why you're together is essential. Because in those rough times or the times when you're like, yo, this girl's getting on my nerves or this dude's getting on my nerve, you could actually reflect back and be like, no, this is really why we're together or this is why I want to be with this person. Because I think a lot of times why it looks like the chemistry shifts or it decreases or cease to exist is because, we go into relationship for the wrong things. And once we don't get what we think we were supposed to get, then, your mind or your level of devotion also shifts with that.
Bill Cosby accusers.
What the fuck?
I was saying Bill Cosby accusers. They get into a relationship thinking they're going to get something that they want.
Wow.
That's what you said, no? Isn't that
Stay
what
on
happened?
topic,
That
my
is on
friend.
topic.
I didn't say Bill Cosby.
No, but I'm saying that's what these accusers did to Bill Cosby. They
Well,
thought,
essentially, yeah.
yeah, that's what they thought they were getting into something. They didn't get what they wanted, and they started kicking and screaming.
But that's not what I was
I understand what you
Not
mean,
even
though.
alluding to
I
that
understand
at
what you
all.
meant, though.
Do not let him drag you into it.
No, but I
okay?
understand, Jamal. I understand what you mean. No, I'm just kidding, but I understand what you meant.
No, but I really think those things, for me personally, those are like the core values of that or that idea for me is very important. Like, I don't think I ever dated a girl I wasn't friends with first.
Well, of course, you have to.
Once.
Yeah.
No, like I'm saying, like we were cool. We knew
Yeah.
exactly what we were doing and whatnot. And then it was like there was never an intent to date. It was just like we're cool, and then it just grew into a relationship.
Okay.
I never looked out, or I don't think I ever done that. Like pinpointed, because I get me already. Like I have like a short fuse,
Do you?
so it's like you got to know me for us to be cool. Like I don't know, I can't. Nah, I don't think I can.
Well,
Off the fly like that, nah.
I have another question Christina sent me. She asked, what are some of the things that are key to a long-lasting relationship?
Knowing your partner's love language.
Damn.
One of the most, if you don't know your own love language or love languages, and if you don't know your partner's love languages, good luck being able to provide them with the happiness that you hope to give them. Like, you need to know. Whether it's they're a receiving gifts person, a words of affirmation person, if they're a physical touch person. There's two more I can't.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, like Google it, people at home who are listening. Like,
it's sort of how
the five
your
love
partner
languages.
receives affection.
Yeah.
Sort of how the affection is registered to that person.
Exactly, because like we said in all the conversations before, like not everybody's the same. Like we all have different values. We all have different ways that we go about it. So one of the few things that really help you pinpoint how to best serve not just the relationship as a whole, but your partner's happiness in the relationship is through knowing their love language and knowing the things that really get like the endorphins going for them. And that's the best way to keep it going.
Cool.
Also, like one of the key part is also, I mean, it might sound oxymoronic, but being selfless, but at the same time being selfish. For me personally, like you have to be able to put your feelings first, but your relationship as well. You have to be able to prioritize. You have to know these things. Like these things are very key. And like going back to what Matt was saying earlier, like this all comes back to the first step to a good relationship is knowing yourself. And so you have to be selfish in a way that, you have to make sure that you're happy and content within the relationship, but you also have to be selfish to make sure you do whatever, to make your partner also feel valued in the relationship.
I mean, Will Smith, in one of his IG videos, he said it pretty much like the best way. Like, it's selfish to believe that your partner is the one who's supposed to make you happy.
Exactly.
Like, you're supposed to be happy on your own. Your partner's supposed to be happy on your own. Then you bring your happiness together. That's also not to say that your partner can't help you become happy.
Right.
But if you are relying on them for happiness, you will never be happy.
Right, but it's the same thing when you're talking about serial daters or whatever.
Yeah, like
people.
that's the best prime example of that.
I feel like their identity is built within a relationship.
Yeah.
So it's like if they're not in a relationship, they're nobody. And so for them to feel valued or feel like somebody, they got to always be like, I'm with somebody. So, and that's part of not knowing yourself, right?
Yeah.
So
does that answer your question, Christina? Yes? No? Yes?
I mean, like, I'm so grateful that I'm at a point in my life where I don't feel validation from another in that space is what will make me happy, Like, you get to that point where, and usually it happens after you have like a really severe breakup or you see a very severe breakup and what it does to someone, and you're just like, you know what? Like, you essentially turn that corner and you're like, I got to build myself now.
Well, because I mean, if you dated someone for a long time and then all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, regardless of how it happens, there's a breakup, it forces you to, or at least it pushed you to a point where you're like, you know what? My next relationship has to be better than this. It forced you to evaluate, like, where you went wrong or what steps you could have taken differently. And then eventually it forces you into a self-discovery stage.
Yeah.
And I think that's pivotal. I think it sucks that sometimes you have to go through some hard shit to get to that point. But I think it's necessary. I think everybody, before you start dating, you really got to take time to know yourself.
Yeah.
And like your real self, like not your IG self, like your real self.
Or the self that you believe is your best, but isn't actually who you are.
Right.
Yeah, so Christina asked me to answer the question. I don't know why I have to answer the question because I already know.
Answer it.
No.
Just ask the fucking question. And
weren't you the one talking about, you better answer questions when I ask them? Well, look who got asked the question and won't answer it.
Christina's right here. If you want to ask, you can ask her what
we
you
didn't
want.
tell you to bring her. Answer the question.
No, like, my thing, what are some key things to the relationship? You have to be on the same page. So you have to know from the beginning where you want to go.
Well, first you got to be in the same book. Because I know a lot of people on the same page, but they just in different books.
You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. No, be on the same page. Clear communication. Communication is key to any relationship, work relationship, any relationship, whatever. That's key.
Common goals
and compromise. You have to be willing to compromise on both sides, not just like you're always compromising or the other person is always compromising. That's some of the keys. And I think a great thing to help in a long-lasting relationship is if you can share a lot of activities together. So, for example,
I was going to say that.
If you have if you have a night, like let's say a movie night or a game night, or you want to go to a comedy club, have a certain night that's set up for you for that, so you can do that. Keep, not necessarily it's the same thing over, but have a night where you two can then do something and just forget everything on the side, leave arguments at home, leave any issues you may have at home or anything from work, hard day, just go out, do whatever you want to do and that. But yeah, if you could share a lot of activities together, I think that's one of the good things. And that's one of the things I did the last week I wasn't here when I went to Calypso. We went to Calypso, the water park. We had a great time. We took days off from work, but it was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. And it was a good way to recharge, relax. Because usually we would be going on vacation. We didn't get to do that this year, maybe next year, but even a little 2-3 day getaway is perfectly fine.
No, because I was going to say, when you were listing off everything, one thing that a lot of people forget when they get into a relationship is to still court your partner,
Sure.
Keep dating, keep complimenting them, keep reminding them that you are happy and not necessarily just content, but you enjoy what you have with this person. And like you said, having activities together, whether it's going to Calypso or taking a quick weekend getaway, or even small things where you find a reason to get her up the house for a couple hours. You set some romantic shit up, and then she comes home and it's rose petals and candlelight,
Right.
do it up, be cheesy. Who gives a
No,
fuck?
for sure.
We're smiling back here.
But you also like two things.
Are you writing this down,
No, I'm
my
not
friend?
writing shit down.
I am
Taking-
giving you
this guy's
the keys.
This guy's taking notes over here.
Another thing to a cute relationship.
But-
Let them believe what they want to hear. Sometimes.
Whoa.
Whoa, I'm not taking this.
I'm gonna skip right.
You
past
on an island, my friend?
I'm gonna skip
Christina's
right.
here. Christina's
I'm
right
gonna
here.
skip right.
You're on an
past that.
island for that one, my friend.
I'm gonna skip right past that. But I really do think one of the key that on your list that you're missing, like I would put 2 extra ones: purpose and devotion. I think you have your goal is what you're working towards. You know what I mean? But there must be a purpose for the union. Like it has to be something. Like both people have to have some sort of added value out of the relationship. Like I think it can't be one-sided, and it has to be, I think, on the same levels, right? You know, like if a girl's dating a dude because dude make money, and a dude's dating a girl, the same girl because she got a fat ass, eventually one of those 2 things are gonna snap.
Thing gonna go droopy.
You know what I mean? Because if he has a shitty attitude, but he has money, she has a bitchy attitude, she got a fat ass, it's not gonna work, right? Eventually, like something's gotta give. So I think devotion is like what Matt said, like you gotta be willing to be not a cornball, because I don't think it's a cornball thing.
No,
but,
if it's your girl, it ain't
but-
corny.
you know what I mean? But you gotta
on,
be able
man.
to do some real shit, like, you know, maybe leave work early, cook a meal, clean the house, you know what I mean? Plan a picnic. You know, your boys might laugh at you, but at the end of the day, your girl's happy.
Your boys ain't the one riding you at the end of the night, my friend. I hope, at least. You know,
Well,
unless
nah,
that's
bro.
what you want. I mean,
That's not over here, bro. No, sir. I don't know what
not that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, for me, there's a lot wrong with that, but not like in that sense.
But if you're in a relationship, how dare you?
No. There'll be no, none of that over here. Whoa.
Hey, I spun it for you. It's okay. Relax.
What do you mean you spun it for me?
I spun it like a good politician.
Pause,
Just leave it
bro.
alone.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we grew up in the greatest era. We grew up when Dipset was at its height, and we
Hey,
with all these
focus.
sayings. That was the best.
Focus.
Hey, if it wasn't for this one, we would have none of these sayings.
No, if it wasn't for Harlem.
That's true.
Oh my God,
That's
guys.
true.
Anything else on the relationship side that we got to bring up? Anything on your heart?
On my heart specifically,
I mean, I was saying it in general.
oh yes, Christina loves me. She said, "Thank you."
Oh, they're
I
being
love you.
gross.
I love you too, Christina.
They're being gross right now. That's so cornball cheesy.
I don't care about. I'm too old to care. That's how.
Oh, that's
how
the
bad
best
it
way
is.
to be,
I'm
man.
too old to care now.
What do you mean you're too old to care?
Like when you're 16, you care about everybody's opinion in your
Oh, fuck out of here. I
relationship.
stopped caring a
The
long
older
time
you
ago.
get, you're just like, I really don't give a fuck what you guys think.
It's just like the other day, I don't know if it was on Instagram, but I saw like these, was it a picture or was it a video of these 2, like literally, they're in an old people's home. And the man, I guess they're married, he has shorty up in the corner grabbing her ass. I'm like, yo, this guy has 0 fucks to give, bro.
If it was Florida, they probably weren't married.
Huh?
I said if it was Florida, they probably weren't married.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you after.
No, but it was like an old couple, like a very, very old couple.
Yeah.
And they were like just literally like still, you know, being touchy-feely inappropriately in public.
That is dope, though.
That is dope. I think that's really, really dope. That's most people aspire for that shit. You know what I mean?
Christina had asked me another question again. She says, "How do I feel?"
Christina, just get on the mic.
I know. I like say what you want to say on the
Jesus.
mic. Why are you hiding? Look, she's like,
What did Mom Duke say?
no. She was just asking me like how. What were you saying again? Yeah, she forgot too. I forget. Who's saying something? Oh, your mom said something on.
I don't know about
on
which
the chat?
part.
I don't know about which part I
The
just
communication thing we were talking about.
said. No, there's another one.
Said, excuse me. I guess from some.
No, there's a one after that.
There's one after that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise
Otherwise,
it's
it's
just
just.
The sex partner you're
Or-
seeking. Yeah,
you're
I
seeking.
can't remember which part of the conversation that's
Yeah.
for. I haven't been looking down.
We
much.
apologize. We weren't keeping track
Yeah.
of it.
Normally we have at least one eye on the chat, but this conversation's been flowing, so
Yeah, I'm on the chat too. I'm doing a lot of stuff behind
it
here.
happens. It happens.
You have it, Christina. You have another question? You still say you had another question?
Hey, now is your chance to put him in a corner and just ask whatever you want.
But anybody in the chat could also ask questions if
Yeah,
they
ask
have
questions.
any.
What?
Feel free. Feel
Oh,
liberated.
she asked me what the thing I like about her the most. Your eyes. That's the thing I like the most. Your eyes are the most.
Such a cornball statement.
her eyes or her eyes?
Listen, I'm part West Indian. I could say it how I want to say it. I could say
You'll
axe.
say it with your chest.
I could say
You're
axe.
part West Indian?
I could say flim.
He
I
said
was
part.
born here.
We heard that. Say it with your chest.
What do you mean part West Indian?
Oh, your character. What do I love most about your
Wow,
character?
this guy just denounced
He is
an
getting
island.
drilled right now.
Oh, wow.
I don't
Drill
know.
him, Christina.
This is not about you right now.
Christina, drill him.
Christina's making this about
Make
her
him
right
tell everybody that he loves you.
now. Yeah, I
Whoa,
told her that.
pause.
No, but like, it's not about you. she just wants to get all the questions out the way, but she doesn't want to come on the mic or to talk to anyone. Don't worry, you're gonna come on. I could turn the camera towards you. You want me to
She's
do that?
basically making it so easy for you to be like super cheesy and like big her up, but you're being stubborn.
That's good. Let her come on the thing she wants.
Right now, she's seeking words of affirmation.
I told her.
One of the love languages that you must provide.
Jason, unilingual. He ain't a polygat with his shit.
English.
All right, guys. So, any last thoughts on this, or is that it for this nice little relationship chat?
Yeah, the relationship. I don't have nothing else to say.
You just want to run.
This guy's feeling the heat. Can't get the fuck up out of the kitchen.
No, but there's another topic I want to get to really quickly though, not in too long. That's the thing. But after.
No, let's do it.
Anything else?
'Cause, I mean, I feel like we've exhausted all avenues on this. Unless there's something we forgot, then I mean, we could always come back to it another date.
Yeah, so we'll talk. The relationship thing is good. So there's one thing that came up on Stephen A's. Everyone knows who Stephen A. Smith is.
Stephen A.
Yeah.
Smith, he's a sports broadcaster on
Yeah.
ESPN.
Yeah, and he was more like he had a comment on his Twitter, and that he was like he was saying that it was, I don't know, some kids in New York threw water on NYPD, and he got all up in arms about this. But there were certain people on his timeline saying like, how come you're quick to worry about water being thrown on NYPD and not Eric Gardner getting choked out in the streets? And my main thing is platform. People like Stephen A. Smith who have this giant platform, how come these people don't use it? To me, because he's the type of person that says, I'm a black man, so this is how black men think, and like, but when it's black issues, you don't speak on it. And for me, Stephen A. is, I watch First Take like everyone else. I watch it and know what's going on and everything like that. But then his platform, like, I don't understand why he doesn't use his platform to better certain things. And it's like
I can tell you exactly why.
he doesn't want to get fired. He doesn't want to keep his money.
Yeah, it's
That's
in specific connection with ESPN, because after the whole situation with Jamil Hill happened, where she was very open and political, attacking Trump or anybody essentially in the political sphere. After that had happened, where like they suspended her or whatever, like that whole fiasco.
Yeah.
It was pretty much new policy set in place where the only time political speech is allowed is if it's in connection with sports. That's why recently Dan Le Batard was on his show, or no, his radio show, and he was talking about how he essentially addressed the exact same thing, where we've gotten to a point where us as journalists, reporters, sportscasters can only have these political stances or give any type of light to where our stances are is if an athlete has done something.
Yeah.
And that's the only time they can do it because of ESPN's policies. So that's essentially why.
My thing is, I'm not saying Stephen A. has to speak for all black people, because he doesn't. And I thank God he doesn't. But it's like when you have a certain platform, it could be a rapper, it could be a entertainer, whatever. Use your platform positively. It's like kids throwing water at NYPD. Come on. Like, what is that?
Yeah, that's nothing worth
nothing.
bringing up or even...
It's
especially like if they're throwing water on the NYPD and the NYPD, I don't know if they were playing or what the situation...
They were not playing.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see it, so I don't know what the situation was.
What it is, it's two occasions. The first one first happened, a police officer was writing a ticket or making an arrest, I believe, and it wasn't like a water balloon. It was like buckets.
Okay.
It was literally it was a lot of water.
Yeah.
And then it was
So like they
repeated.
drenched him essentially.
Well, essentially, and then it happened thereafter, another time after that. I mean, that's two parts to it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, in a way, and you know, I'll say loud and proud, I'm pro-black, but there's certain things.
Really?
Fuck yeah. There's certain things that I personally, I don't know how I feel about it, but one thing I'll tell you, I don't think it's the most sensible thing and the rightest way to go about it. I personally I minimize any interaction I have with law enforcement. But at the end of the day, I'm also aware that this is somebody's job. You know what I mean? Somebody got to do it. I'm also aware that not all cops are bad cops, and not all cops have intent to hurt or prejudice, or you know what I mean, or gonna willfully act out of in a malicious way.
Yeah.
So the idea that, you know, they should, people should drench them or whatever, and you can't compare them being drenched to the whole Eric Gardner thing.
No, what I'm saying is that I'm not. You're right. What you're saying is absolutely right. The police have a job to do. There's no reason anyone should drench police in water and stuff. My only issue was the reaction towards it. Like, he's reacting as if, oh, these police officers got shot by water and they died off water. It's like, but you don't hear him.
Yeah, but you have to also realize, like, that water is a gateway to a lot of fucked up things. It could then essentially be urine. It could have been feces. It could have been stones.
Yeah, like, you never know what could have came out the next bucket.
You don't want to necessarily open that position in, because it could escalate, and it could escalate very quickly. And I don't think there's any hood in America that would win against the police when it comes to being like attacking each other.
Yeah.
Chicago?
No.
No.
It's not even like whether they could win or not. It's not something you want to engage.
There's certain
to
fights
begin
that
with.
you just don't want to see start.
Right.
Like I said, I didn't see the video. I'll check it out afterwards.
So for me personally, I could agree with Stephen A. Smith. What I can't really condone is that I've heard many comments of people saying like, oh, you know, people need to have respect. These are people in authority. That's where I have a fucking problem. Because at the end of the day, they're humans. And I believe that humans should be treated as humans.
Respect is earned.
Respect is earned. Respect, you want respect, you got to give it.
Yeah.
And if these police officers didn't do nothing, they're doing their job, then it's disrespectful for you to go out your way to impede on them doing their job. You know what I mean? And I think it goes the same way. If people are walking down the street minding their business, it's wrong for a cop to impose him or herself, you know what I mean, in a way to enforce his or her power, I guess, or abuse of power, right? So there's a balance that has to happen. There shouldn't be wetting people down. Like, fuck out of here.
You shouldn't be doing it. But the reaction towards it shouldn't be like as if it's the end of the world either.
It is the end of the world, Jason. Because this is the beginning of something that could be and could literally be a snowball thing that innocent people get hurt. And then all of a sudden, you know how it is, bro.
I understand what you mean.
You know exactly how it is.
It's not the end of the world. It's the
beginning.
This could have led to something catastrophic.
And
that's what it is.
No, but it could. Because this was going to happen. Let's say, God forbid, 3-4 days from now, an incident happened and it involved a police taking the life of one of the individual in that community. You know how the news is going to spin that, right? Oh, that was the same community where 2 police officers were drenched while doing their job, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, it takes off any guilt from what the police officer did. That's not the way you go about it. Like, to me, if you want to provoke change or you want to protest, you want to do that. We had this conversation last week. But to me, at that point, as a civilian, you're overstepping your boundaries. Yeah. And you're forcing someone to react to your behavior. And at that point, when you force somebody to react, you can't control how they're going to react. Yeah. And essentially, it's not pushing us forward. That is a very dangerous game for anybody to start. That's like sticking your head in the lion's mouth, bro. I don't give a fuck if that lion licks your face, jump on your shoulder. Bro, it's still a lion. You got to respect it in that sense. And this is still someone with a gun, and, you know, there's laws that give them right to react in a certain manner. And I think that's something that people need to be mindful of, because it could turn ugly, and it could turn ugly very fast. And if someone's getting something thrown at them and they react in a manner that is, and someone get hurt as a result of it, is it self-defense? I mean, obviously, I'm not talking about excessive force here with a, you know, don't throw a bullet if someone throw water at you, but they're throwing bullets for less. But I'm just saying, it's not something, it's Pandora's box. You don't want to open it.
Yeah, I feel
And so
that.
I agree with Stephen A. Smith by saying, like, these type of behavior is ridiculous. It's not ridiculous because, you know, you need to respect police. It's ridiculous because at the end of the day, these are individuals doing their job. And again, not all of them are bad police. So therefore, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
No, I'm not saying all police are bad, but I could say all police are culpable. And I would say that because a lot of the bad police, the good police know who they are. And they refuse either to come out because of repercussions that may happen, or because, you know, they're just afraid that the union, police union or brotherhood, whatever, might come after them.
But
Obviously, but I'm saying, like you say, they're not all of them are malicious. Not all of them go out every day looking to start trouble and stuff like that. However, the ones who do start trouble, the good police know who they are.
But the same statement is true, right? The same statement could be used for people in the hood or people in certain areas.
True. Yeah,
we
yeah,
know
same
who the
thing.
bad people are, who sell drugs, who does all of this, but we'll never snitch.
We never snitch. And but the
Because
problem
we
is,
live by a code, right?
no, but the problem is power. Who has the power in this situation?
But I
If
think
you snitch, there's a high probability that they're gonna put you for something to go into jail. Like you just said, you keep your interaction with police at a minimum, and
Absolutely.
not because you know they're gonna put something. Not it's just because they can do bullshit anytime.
no, like there's a limit though. Like now that you said that, it brought me back to I know you remember this shit because you would laugh right now when I say it.
What?
Cameron was asked once if you live next door to a rapist, would he call the
Yeah.
police? If he knew this guy was a known rapist and he lived in the community that he shouldn't be there, would he call the police? And Cameron said, no, I will not call the police. And did he say, would I move or something?
He would move. Yeah.
He would move. And to me, this is the part of it where, you know, you have to be mindful. You know what I mean? Like, bro, if there's a rapist,
You gotta call the fucking
you
cops
gotta
on a
call the
rapist.
cops,
No, but,
bro.
but you have to. But I understand why he said it though, because it's a product of where you grew up. To,
No, it's
so-
not. No, it's not.
It's very much a product of the environment of that whole no snitching culture.
No. And that no snitching culture got taken far because anybody who's really in the streets would tell you there's gangsters, people who live by the streets, and there's civilian. If you're a civilian and you've seen something
Yeah.
wrong, you are allowed to talk, irregardless of where you live. That's not gang. No snitching comes down to essentially us three are doing something wrong. One of us get caught and we bring everybody down. That's snitching. But if I see Matthew do something fucking wrong, I should be able to call him out on it or
Yeah.
take the appropriate
I don't know why it has
steps.
to be me.
Huh?
So I don't know why it has to be me.
No, but like I'm
You're the
saying,
one culpable of doing
no,
things
but like I'm
this.
saying, like,
I'm just
Jesus
joking.
Christ.
Jason's choice of words.
no, but what I'm saying is that, like, in the case of Cameron, he grew up in a hood where, like, if you get snitches, that them people's gonna come after you once they figure out it was you that was snitch. So I understand where he's coming from.
Who's gonna come after you?
That
It's
you
a
don't know.
rapist,
But
bro,
that's the thing. You
or
don't
a
know.
murderer.
But you don't know. That's the thing.
No, you can't excuse that. To me,
Nah, you gotta call.
and this is something where, you know, at the same time we like to blame the system as to why black communities are certain way, but we have to admit that we play a pivotal role as to why our communities are the way they are, and that's one of them. You know what I mean? Like the Black Panther movement was built to remove drug dealers and all these things that devalue our communities out of the hood. So the idea to know that someone's doing wrong in your neighborhood and you can't tell somebody about it because you don't want to be a snitch, that's bullshit. I won't snitch if I did a crime.
I don't think it's a label of the snitch. I think it's more of the label of what's gonna happen.
I
if
will
you
go
do
on
snitch.
record and tell you guys this now. I wouldn't necessarily snitch on anybody. But if you do something, I will turn into Clarissa and I'll explain it all. I have no problem speaking on something that is wrong. Whether or not I'll try to do the right thing and approach the person, but if the right person is not approachable, and I know you're doing something that is harmful to the surrounding in which I live, I'm sorry, but it's either you or I, one of us going to get removed. And if you're damaging people and people are afraid to talk, this is the reason why we see certain neighborhoods in Chicago the way it is. Because ain't nobody willing to talk about shit they see. And then all you see is bodies dropping left, right, and center.
But
Crimes getting committed, people go to jail.
I can't remember what case it was, but there was this case where in Chicago, this dude was doing something. He was like, it was this young dude, like 16, 17 years old, was killing people and shit. And he was hiding. And police said, if you guys don't tell us what this dude is, we're going to come get you. We're going to stop all this gangbanging shit right away. They're going to come down and harm them. The guy ended up dead somewhere, who they were looking for the day after the police said that. And the people who killed him ended up dead the next day after that. So it's like,
oh, I think I've seen that. I think I've seen that video. Yeah.
And the thing is, that's why I say it's a product of your hood where you grew up, because you don't know. You never know. And I'm not saying like if someone's doing bad, you don't snitch. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is careful who you do it to, or know who you're doing it to. Because if it's better you do it to someone you know than someone you don't know. Because if it's someone you don't know, like Cameron said, for rapists there, he doesn't know who these rapist people know, and you never know who could come after you.
Yeah, but there's a way that there's a way to go about certain things.
There is a way to go about it.
And I agree that, yes, certain laws should exist where, like, if I say you did something and you found evidence, that I shouldn't be forced to testify, or corroborate with the police to prove, further that this person's guilty of a crime. Like, I think it's on the police's part to investigate and find substantial evidence. But I do think as humans who live in communities, we do have a duty to our community to keep it safe, healthy, in a way that, everybody could, flourish.
Yep.
I don't think it's right for, you be scared to send your kids out because there's a rapist on the loose and your neighbor's not going to talk because he ain't no snitch. You know what I mean? Like, you can't send your kids in the backyard. You be like, yo, I heard there was a rapist. I don't know. This neighborhood don't talk on nobody, so you got to stay in the house.
But it's not even our community that does that. Remember Rick Pitino? No, what's his name? The guy from Pittsburgh, that all the kids were getting raped, and he saw them. Penn State, yes. And he saw the kids going through, and he didn't know anything. He was just like, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think it happened that way.
I doubt it happened that way.
You know what I mean? The way you painted it, but
whatever the case is. All right, let's wrap it up.
Let's
Let's wrap it up.
Am I safe to say final thoughts, or are we going to go on another rant?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts, going back to the relationship conversation that took majority of this podcast. Learn your love language or love languages. Learn your partner's love languages. I promise you, by doing that, the journey for your relationship with your partner will be made 80% easier.
Jamali?
Final thoughts on what the relationship thing?
Wherever.
I mean, I don't want to sound like shy or anything. Or what was it? All for one.
Just tell her you love her.
But make sure your partner is a friend before anything else. I think if you have a friendship before an intimate relationship, you're on the right path. I think that, he or she got to be your friend, like straight up. Like, you can't find someone in the club and then 3 weeks later, you barely know their name, their favorite color, but they're your boyfriend or girlfriend. It doesn't make sense to me.
All right, and my final thoughts. Since I spoke too much about the relationship, I'll talk about the stuff we just talked about right now. Stop snitching, stop lying.
Jason, stop promoting bullshit, bro. Yo, watch you and Christina have kids and there's a rapist in the fucking neighborhood. You're going to want somebody to talk.
Huh? If there's a rapist in the neighborhood, I'm moving.
You think moving is just something you just uproot and just do, right?
Yep, that's right. That's what it is. To protect my kids? Oh, hell yeah, I'm out.
He is such a beta.
Yeah, you really are, bro.
What? So I'm supposed to go out there and chase this rapist with a bat? Roaming the streets out like Batman or something? You have to be a vigilante.
We are responsible for ourselves within a community structure.
I shouldn't have said final thoughts.
And so therefore, the idea of no snitching Like, if don't do the crime if you're scared to do the time, and then there won't be any snitches.
But I won't have any crime.
But that's my point. So I ain't no thug. I'm telling you, if there's a rapist in the community, I will snitch. I will give everything from blood type to anything I can find. I'll find cigarette butts. I'll supply DNA samples, whatever I can fucking find. I'm giving you up, bro.
Whoa.
This dude's gonna turn into Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. I'm telling you.
Why?
This dude's gonna be
Bro, I respect
Inspector Gadget in this bitch.
I respect the street code. If me and you are doing something and we're not supposed to do it, and I get bite, I'm taking the bullet. You could put your bottom dollar on that.
All right.
But if you're out there causing harm and danger in innocent people's life, and I could put a stop to it, I will.
All right.
Good man. I respect that.
That's simple.
Thank you, everybody, on the live stream for tuning in. And thank you, guys, that are listening on your own leisure for tuning in to another episode of the Don't Be Mad podcast. Thank you. Have a good weekend. We'll see you guys next week.
Love is love.